and burst coming out from the side of Nord. We've had some compositions today where we only have DPS and not burst, but Nord, they have so much follow-up in every kind of regard. Akali, Annie, GP all have burst. Even Varus has elements of burst, particularly with the lethality builds, and Varus gives a lot of DPS for their team. Lee Sin even, if scaling properly, just absolutely one-shots. It does look like a full 5-stack on top. That would be really nice for Nilla if they're able to do something. The Nautilus being here as well is very interesting. A map split for top side. That would be curious to do. But yeah,
we have already
like
seen one lane swap today, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. Verdant not really finding anything with their level 1s. No deep vision either. They've not been able to spot out Akaban. And whilst you can assume that Lee Sin is going to be pathing towards the top side, you don't know that. Bot side.
I just find it funny that WoW is the only guy that doesn't have a camera in his room right now.
Oh, yeah, wait, we got cams on everybody. Yo!
But not
Sheesh.
WoW.
But not WoW.
The guy, the man everyone's here to see. Let's be real. All right. Like, I'm sorry, Casino, like, it's not 2016 anymore, all right?
E-roll doesn't have cam. E-roll doesn't have cam either. That's unfortunate. I like that the Tax is there, like in his Tax is there in his jersey, and well, I was kind of just like chilling, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he's an old man with experience, you know. He knows what to expect.
Well, Kasing's got like the hoodie on with the headphones over the hood.
Oh,
I don't like
he
that.
does.
I don't like that.
Does that work?
I feel like that's just. Could you hear stuff as well in those situations?
I have like noise cancelling headphones. I feel like it would be pointless for me to. Although it works with like a tone, though, so maybe it works anyway.
Maybe it's just like cold in his room or something.
Maybe. Is that an Angry Birds poster? That's framed. A framed Angry Birds poster.
That's goated.
You know those pics of girls being like, guys will literally live like this and think it's fine? Woolite has that room. That's literally white walls, white bed. That's it.
So funny story, right?
Yeah.
About a year, I want to say like a year and a half ago, I got a green screen for my room. It's not up right now because it is an absolute pain to put up and take down and all that. But I worked out, I realised when I got it delivered that it doesn't actually fit in my room without me dismantling my bed and just having a mattress on the floor. So for the past 18 months, I've just sort of been living that life, sleeping on a mattress. So like, I know exactly where you're coming from.
Yikes! Doesn't that mess up with your back though? Right? Like if you don't have the springs going on.
Solo queue messes with my back like every day. The amount that I have to carry people. So like, it's not really that much of an issue, you know?
True. I thought you played TFT.
I do the solo queue in TFT, like ranked, you know?
True. But you're carrying anyone.
I'm carrying myself while I'm trying to. Anyway.
What rank are you now? I support your TFT journey.
Please don't make me say it.
I support your TFT journey.
Please don't make me say my rank.
Dude, Tax is getting the dopamine right there from the armor break on the. I'm telling you, it's insane levels of dopamine when you finally get the armor break on Vi. You know, just like the click. You know, look at Woolite. Tell me that's not from the photos.
Well, we might have the opportunity to ask him about it. Anyway, we do have League of Legends on our screen.
Look at Cly's room. Look, Cly is in a luxurious hotel.
That is really nice.
Yes.
That is really nice.
My God. I'm liking the moustache that's coming through from him, actually. It suits him. Looks good.
Looks good. We're kind of fortunate that nothing's really happened in the early game right now.
It's a Nord game. I mean, Errol is... Oh!
He's fine.
Okay. Well, we didn't see those the steps up to it, you know? We just go bot and it's like that. Oh, there you go!
Kevo pulls the feathers back first, blood! Around about 5 minutes in, the game comes to life.
That's what happens when you're streaming from the Marriott Hotel versus streaming from a meme photo, you know? Oh my... But Woolite's hydrated, so who's really winning at the end of the day? That's true. Yeah.
I mean, he did just get killed, so...
You have to do those kinds of aggressive hooks in these range matchups, especially when you're on that kind of a wave. If he doesn't do that, then it's really easy for Woolite and Kasing to be able to turn overall. We had Kasing in a position where he burned a lot of mana. Cly recognized it. Really aggressive, gets rewarded.
Ooh, Tax are actually going in versus Akaban and Fury. Not as much energy on that Akali as the Nord mid laner would have liked. Cly was also moving over to back up that play from Taxa. So Verdant coming out with a few early advantages, and E-Roll able to TP back into mid lane with that lost chapter.
Yep, I mean, Errol definitely not getting the early priority he would want against the Akali, and the Akali actually able to translate it into early invades. But the early invades are somewhat questionable, right? Like, even with a degree of success, Vi isn't going to be put that far behind him. She will still be more useful later on. But there's an issue with the Nord composition we didn't really talk about. Lee doesn't have set up top and he doesn't have set up mid, right? All he can really do is just catch Taxa on rotation. Taxa being like an older version of Akabane that we used to talk about them the exact same way, honest to God. But outside of controlling him, the only lane he can really play on is bot lane if bot lane has flash. And they haven't had the opportunity to do that yet. And that's going to run out on 6, right? When suddenly Xayah has a lot of counterplay. So difficult to find uses for the Lee early.
Ooh, double stun from Kasing off the engage out of Cly. Taxa making his way down to the bot lane. Not
Lee
quite
too.
level 6 yet, but might spot out Woolite as he is moving over. Not going to see him on the sweeper. Nearly just got a solo kill onto WoW. And Verdant could look for even more. E-Roll is coming from base. He's not going to be able to join this play if his team goes for it. But Fury, level 7 on the Akali, fishing for a little bit of damage. Nord will be able to get the Drake, and they are rotating towards this bot lane. No ultimates for Woolite, no level 6 for Kasing either, so can't really find definite engage. But they are able to pick up that Drake and get away.
Akabane is doing so much without a single working light in his house. Or lane to play through as well.
Are the lights in his house like a metaphor for the setup CC in his lanes or something?
True.
Hold on, E-Roll. Flashing back onto Fury, you do need to be very, very careful on the Azir. Post 6, that Akali can kind of one-shot.
Especially with the build going on here, right? Like, look at Akali's Sork shoes, right? No, not looking for priority on the wave, looking for one-shot potential on towards the Azir. Really aggressive first item, and that's honestly going to give you a degree of wave control. But you do have Nautilus entering river first, with the rest of his team here. Cly pretty good at these rotations towards early Herald. Question is, which side's actually going to win out? If Kasing's not able to get a really strong engage and she isn't 6 yet, then Verdant actually in a good position.
Hold on. We're getting a strong engage from Verdant here, and they're able to get it down onto Akaban, who is removed from the game. Verdant with their 3rd kill in these early stages. Taxa is going to be able to get a Herald as well. Norda falling behind a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that fight would definitely favor them, and part of that is because of Clyde's rotation and entering in river first instead of opening up in lane. This is a dichotomy you wanted to talk about in one of the earlier games today, but here you actually see the argument play out in force. By entering river and then moving towards lane, you actually unlock your lane at the same time, and as a result, have priority on any skirmish that happens. Gnar was able to play however he wanted top as well, which means if that fight extended, it would still favor Verdant. Very nice macro plays coming out from them. It's solid fundamentals, nothing special, but good by them.
E-Roll, maybe a victim of, again, Kasing flashing for the stun, but not before the shifting stance can take E-Roll to safety.
Yeah, I mean, he was under threat there from the Akali, but looking at the wave, he was completely fine to just move away. Yes, Annie could maybe go for the stun, but it wouldn't be an ult stun anyway, so there would always be a delay on its connection. The ultimate from Annie is so huge because, like, really old Season 4 Veigar cage, it comes out instantaneously without that channel time that every other ability she has does.
Don't remind me of old Veigar cage.
No one played it back then, and yet it was on an instant page.
I feel like they nerfed it, so it was what, the 0.25 second, like, cast down time or whatever, and like everyone was like, hold on, this pick is actually kind of busted. Akaban is around the bottom lane, but can't find a gank.
Nope, and the wave is good for Cly and Kivo to just do whatever they want, but Annie is getting tribush as Varus has to move up.
Getting angry. This top lane is not going great for WoW. He's going to scale. He's on a GP. He'll be fine in the later stages.
Nice.
This is a pick onto Kasing. He can't get Tibbers out in time, and Kevo claims the kill. Fury with the shuriken flip down onto Tax, who pulls him onto tower, and will be taken down in the end, but feeds another kill over. Verdant are straight up playing better than Nord right now.
Having flashbacks to the first game of the day with the argument we had about macro, but was actually executed properly by Verdant, and the support doing so much. Cly's map movements and Cly's aggression on the Nautilus have been on point and netted so much for Verdant overall. Fury does get a trade kill back, but he's dead. Azir is pressuring mid lane off of that. Azir gets to catch up a lot off of the CS that he was losing from pressure beforehand. Sure, Annie is on the map first, but Nautilus on this reset will come out with Kevo, and anything you get from this is going to be taken back before the Drake spawns. You didn't have many early windows for Nord because of their setup, and the big question we had coming in was, can Nord show us that they can play early game and it's not just going to be about scaling into these mid-game fights? And honestly, against Verdant, they've shown us there's still vulnerabilities there.
And a lot of the pre-game for this was about how important this matchup is for Verdant in the context of their position in the standings. And whilst Nord have already locked playoffs for themselves, they really want to be in that top two. And if they lose this game for a second time, this split dropping down to 9-2, then seems like Ruddy will be spelling blood in the water, especially with them playing tomorrow.
It's just Marriott Hotel diff with Cly here. Really good to use the Herald to get priority for the Drake. This is a move you see LEC teams doing all the time. Heralds kind of get used opportunistically in ERLs, but Verdant intelligently use it to guarantee they get this. And you can see, even though Annie was on the map first, the control didn't mean anything because Verdant would be first on the grouping, and that's what ends up mattering.
And with that Herald summoned in the mid lane as well, that tower is pretty damn low. WoW is going to be able to collect a couple of plates for themselves, and this is the one thing I'm really worried about for Verdant. Whilst this GP has fallen down, he's not really been pressured much outside of that, has already got that Essence Reaver, and if you don't deal with him soon, then he can become something that is difficult to deal with. Woolite is being flash engaged onto, and one shot by Kevo. Cly once again making the plays.
Most reactive Woolite moment right there, but Cly, again with the aggression on Nautilus, immediately getting in on him, immediately translating to kill for Kevo, immediately translating into plates, and Kasing's here with the charge, but no follow-up possible, and he does not have the damage in these items to threaten Kevo at all. Sure, you can poke him, but Kevo's just going to recall after whatever he's doing here, so he doesn't care. He's happy to tank some HP to get those minions. He's going to recall, be back on the map on full HP. And top lane, you mentioned the Gangplank being left alone for a couple of seconds immediately gets a lot of plates. Yeah, that's going to be the issue with having Gangplank for Nord for the rest of the game, is that progressively, every time that you're feeling a bit lazy about your top lane, he's going to get more and more. If you feel lazy about a map setup on side lanes, he's going to get more and more, and if you try to trade on the other side of the map, he even has access to do something about it then with his ultimate. So even though WoW got knocked down, he will get up again, and you can never really keep this Gangplank down.
True words have never been spoken. Taxa and Cly in the mid lane for Verdant as they are forcing Fury away from this tower, and they will be able to get first brick. This isn't just a couple of good plays in the early game anymore for Verdant. This is a 3,500 gold lead 15 minutes in. Not a done deal by any means, but certainly a position of power for our red side team that not many people would have expected.
I mean, this is by far the best early game we've seen from Verdant all split, and it's come out when they need it to the most. When these teams are backed up against a corner, they have a decision about how they want to be remembered going out. If they want their season to continue in the next split, they have to start putting up or shutting up, and Verdant have absolutely decided to put everything they have into this, particularly Cly. Right, Cly is a veteran player. He's been around, and he's being a point of criticism a lot of teams he's in, but he doesn't want to be that with Verdant. He's made the plays, he's got his bot lane ahead, and he also won the early Herald contest with his play. Very impactful player so far, streaming from the Marriott Hotel.
Live on location, and it's been 5-star stuff from the Verdant support so far. Picked up another Herald for themselves, so these outer towers may not be long for Nord, and they need to hit back, right? You can't just let Verdant keep getting all these advantages. What do Nord need to do to retake control of this game?
The thing is, it's so reliant on Annie because he is the only one that can get these 5-man engages, but you can see the combo that works, right? The gangplank slow of the ultimate into the Annie engage, into the follow-up, right? The other thing that they could do is try to find flanking opportunities. And whereas we're praising how Verdant have been playing the game, look at vision coverage on the map. That bot side, deep wards are in towards Verdant's area. That top side, deep wards are in towards Verdant's half of the map, right? They aren't actually doing a good job of controlling all of these angles, and the shallow vision doesn't even exist on the top side there. So there are angles for the Akali and for the Lee Sin to get in.
Yep.
You could see a huge Akabane kick. You could see Fury removing Azir from the map or removing Kero's ultimate from the fight, both of which would be huge things.
I mean, maybe even a GP barrel from Fog of War to one-shot a squishy carry. That's a play that a lot of EU fans won't be happy to hear about. We've seen that knock down a few of our teams at the world stage in the past, but Verdant will need to get back on top of that vision if they want to close out this game. Taxa summoning the Rift Herald in the bot lane. This is going to be another turret going in their favor. In 30 seconds' time, we have got a further third Drake spawning. Verdant have already got themselves priority in the river, but Nord are overloading mid lane.
I mean, the Herald's not being used the way it was before. Yes, you get priority, but there's going to be 2 more rotations before the Drake actually spawns. You see on this first rotation, the vision's being traded back. So you would like the Herald now to guarantee the vision for the next Drake. They're not going to get it. They're just going to trade for this top side. You do have tempo on the map. You're trading this for tempo on the map. But a burst-heavy team like Nord, they're going to be happy to get this Chemtech Drake. I'm going to be real, when I was saying that, I was looking at the top left and saw Infernal, and I thought that was an Infernal Drake. This is actually not as bad.
No,
so it's
Chemtech
kind
Drake
of worth the trade. Yeah.
It's a little bit underpowered. And I've even seen some discussion on Twitter of people going, actually, hold on, if it is a Cloud Soul, if it is a Chemtech Soul, you kind of want the enemy team to take it, and then you can flip Elder against them. Maybe not
in which case, the Herald on bot lane was played for resets, and you can see all members, well, 4 members, the Azir's kind of chilling, coming out at the same... He has teleport, he's not really chilling. All coming out at the same time and being able to reset the map earlier than Nord are able to do so. And they're doing this with the waves firmly in their favor. Nars ahead of Akali on the bot side versus the top side of the map. Vi is going to make sure Akali can't do any more, but Nar is going to be able to transfer into mid and towards top side for the bigger play, which is going to be that Baron coming up in a minute's time. And that's when you could see Nord be in a position to try to find the flank, find the 5-man from the Annie, find something to get that fight that can win them the game. That's when the veterancy of the players on Nord matter. Right now, they're going to be more confident in those situations to pull the trigger, because the laning phase ain't being it. The early game ain't being it. But maybe in this, you're going to see the value of having such a team with the experience that Nord's players have.
I mean, it reminds me of Riddle's game that they almost lost versus Domino, right? You have one team that gets out to a pretty substantial advantage, and then the team from the top of the table, they knuckle down, they go, we've been here before, we understand how these situations work, and they're able to find the play in the end. We are just cresting the 20-minute mark now. Baron is on the table. Verdant. This game is so important for them in the context of keeping their playoff spot, that last playoff spot in NLC. And with a performance like this versus Nords, well, they could maybe even hope for a bit of a deeper run in the knockout stages.
The Chemtech is so weak that the client's just not even acknowledging its existence. Like, look at the top.
No,
like,
guys, I promise it's infernal. I promise it's infernal. You really want to take this one, guys.
Don't trade it for tempo, all right? You're not G2 2019, okay? Just go for it, please. Just please, guys. It's good.
Ooh, a little bit too far forward, potentially. Gets the hook back down onto Fury. Open up with the depth from below. Taxa does get ulted, but he's pretty damn tanky on this fight, actually, but not tanky enough. Fury slays Clyde, gets the shuriken down onto Kevo. But Ops against going forward. That's a good pick for Nord, but they need a couple more of those to get back into this game.
Every ultimate went out for Clyde there, but Clyde's the big playmaker. Taxa also has to reset off that. They at least deny the Baron for another rotation. A losing fight, there's a guaranteed Baron for Verdant, but now the opportunities to just rush it have dramatically decreased. You saw the combo there, though, right? You saw the Annie engage, you saw how GP keeps them all in on top of that engage, and you saw how effective it can be. Just they need more incremental picks like that before they have the damage to fully go on it, because a long fight, they ain't winning. They need to burst them down early on. And the Akali, the GP, the Annie, they will have the potential to do that, just not right now. But still, it's good for Nord to be delaying the game. We know how much of an impact Gangplank can have. We know how much of an impact Annie can have. We know how well an Akali has been seemingly forever. This champion just never gets addressed and is always existing and competitive. So there's opportunities and there's a way forward. And Verdant, they've played really, really well, but they're not the experienced ones once it gets to this stage.
And you really want to be going forward as Verdant with those tools of the Vi, of the Nautilus. If Nord are the ones making plays onto you from Fog of War with that Annie Tibbers, then it's not going to go well. And what you're alluding to, right, the pick is going to stay the same throughout the game. It's just what happens after that pick is going to change. It's not going to be Taxa surviving for a little bit longer than he should and actually able to escape the fight. He's going to get one shot by a GP barrel. Fury is going to be able to kill 4 people in that scenario, and it's not just going to be one going down. So Verdant need to clean up their play a little bit around those choke points. We do have another Drake spawning in 25 seconds. Verdant, they don't seem particularly concerned with it at the moment as Nille getting solo killed in the top lane by Fury. That is bad. If you can't lane versus this Akali, then what can you do?
Yep, I mean, that was Nilla in mini-Gnar form with Trinity Black Cleaver, and he ain't surviving against Akali. Akali getting the reset up there means that it's much more difficult for Verdant to find a favourable trade. We don't think that this Chemtech Soul is worth that much. They can't get a reset on bot lane, and they don't have pressure top lane to prevent Nord from just grouping here. They're gonna have to give this up. If they go for the fight, Nord now have numbers.
Nilly is going to be respawning in 5 and has TP. We're actually going to see an engage come through for Tax. They find Kasing and they take him out. It's a trade. Jungler for support, and somehow Kevo's ended up in the middle of Nord. That's not where you want to be, buddy. And in the mid-game fight, Nord will find it. Verdant are fumbling the bag, but Nilly is turning it around. Goes Meganar just in time with the HP. Elo moves them into the ultimate, but it's not enough.
No.
Akabane will not drop down. He will secure the ace, and Nord wrest back control of the game.
I mean, you could see the impatience there from Verdant. They could have just tried to reset the map and get a better scenario before, but they engage on a 4v5, thinking they could maybe make it possible. Fury gets in there. You could see the pressure really get to Kevo, trying to end the fight as fast as humanly possible. And Nyla, he has TP, but he's mini-Gnar. He's not coming in with any Fury stacks. He's still able to make it work. And you see the potential that Verdant have if they just wait for the favorable 5v5. But that's not it here. Errol, he does have the opportunity, the option to stop watching and try to elongate it, but it's already over. He knows it, so he accepts the L, and that becomes a 2 for 5 for Nord from the back footing off of poor decision-making, pressured decision-making by Verdant in a situation where they needn't feel pressured at all.
Just need to calm down a little bit. I mean, even now, they still have the gold advantage, marginal though it is, but
Mate, it's
in these
400.
it's not really meaning anything. And on the other side, you've got this Akali to deal with from Fury. He's nearly level 16. He's already got a death cap, and if your name is Kevo, if your name is Erol, if your name is Nilla, and you're in that mini Gnar form, there is nothing that you can do against that champion.
That cloth armor on Gnar is their gold advantage right now.
Doesn't seem that meaningful.
Yeah. Yeah. If he's against Akali, it suddenly doesn't matter at all. Like, honestly, now the game starts to severely favor Nord. Imagine you're closing against the kind of GP you're going to be closing against if Verdant are able to bring it back into their favor, right? You're already talking about a stage of the game where Nord are happy to let you siege into their tier 3 turrets and just go for the counter engage. It looks like Verdant, they're aware of the timer and they now feel pressure to do the Baron.
Yeah,
and he's not here.
Kasing is running from base. Wow, he's going to use that cannon barrage, and that's actually enough to force Verdant away. Even in an outnumbered situation, Nord force back their opponents, and now they can turn to the Baron.
Yeah, well, they don't exactly have the tools to absolutely delete it, though Woolite is going for the on-hit Varus, which is one of those champions that's being able to do it before. Neither side can really do the Baron fast enough, but you can see the utility of WoW's Gangplank there, right? That ultimate in a cross-map scenario, that will dissuade you from sieging turrets, that will dissuade you from doing Baron. It prevents you from accelerating the game in your favor, and sure, you've burned the cooldown now, but it's already a third of the way up.
Yeah, and Fury able to get even more gold for himself, taking down that top lane tower. Now, level 16 on the Akali, and Verdant are going to be kicking themselves. This game was in their hands. They had full control, but all it takes is one bad fight and you're going to fall down. Agabani with an insect kick through onto Cly. The Nautilus is going to be able to survive and get the ultimate away just in time, but WoW will slay him. WoW dies to Erol though, and Kevo is 1v1ing with Woolite, and you are not going to win that. 2-for-1 play favoring Nord as Kasing is being jumped to by Taxa, but here comes Fury. The 5-point strikes do a ridiculous amount of damage as he is hunting for Erol. Will get chased down by Nilla in the mini Gnar form, but the top laner for Verdant needs to be very, very careful. The Baron has now been started up.
Still the elongator contest. Nilla's feeling it, and you have to flip it here. It's 100% a lost game if you just let Nord get this Baron.
Ooh, what HP is it on? What HP is it going low? Fury going into all of them. Erol with a huge shuffle of multiple members into the pit. What a play from the Verdant mid laner. A triple kill, and he may have saved their playoff hopes.
Azir can do this. WoW is up, and WoW does have the ultimate. If he times it nicely onto Erol, he could maybe get rid of their huge damage dealer. Erol's able to just delete this. Erol's aware of it and goes over on towards the other side. He doesn't want to let the GP get the burst on towards him. GP's going to come in, but he won't find the big damage dealer.
Oh, he's been hooked. He's been found. He's been isolated. Verdant, they've dropped the aggro onto the Baron. That could be crucial. Respawns are going to come through in just a moment for Nord. Fury has TP when he's up in 10, but it is not going to matter. After throwing away an early game lead, Verdant find themselves a Baron and find themselves in the driver's seat once more.
If we ignore the fact that they were fisting their way towards Nord's Nexus like 6 minutes in, this is a typical Verdant game.
Well, this was anything but a typical play for Erol. When he needed to make something exceptional happen, he does just that.
And we were discussing on the fight where Nord started turning the game in their favor, how Erol decided not to utilize the stopwatch, knowing it would be useless, but that was one of the best stopwatch uses we've seen in the NLC so far this split. A game-winning one, absorbing cooldowns, guaranteeing that his Gnar would be able to start taking aggro from his opponents and allow him to finish off the rest.
Oh my word. Early on in the split, Verdant made a habit of winning games that maybe they shouldn't have with plays around the Baron. It wasn't Taxa this time, it was his mid laner Erol. resting them back into this game, which honestly, it felt like it had fallen away from them. They're still going to have to deal with that late game GP threat. They're still going to have to deal with this Akali who can one-shot absolutely everybody, but they've got points of power now. Ero, level 16, 3 items for himself. Kevo getting stronger with every single CS. This game is anyone's for the taking.
Yep. Let's see, though, right? The biggest point of Verdant's strength beforehand was Cly, but Cly and Kevo getting caught out. Kevo, I don't think in that mid lane one-on-one with Woolite, remember to toggle target champions only on. Those have been the ones getting caught before, and Savior plays by Errol and Nilla got in. But if Cly gets back on the form that he had early on in the game, and Kevo tempers a little bit, it could be a fairly clean route for Verdant to try to close this game. We've seen individually how they have to play to win. If they can all get it together for a couple of minutes, they could have a really impactful Baron here and set up a really decent endgame.
And what a statement, right? We were thinking that maybe this team ends up dropping out of playoffs. Maybe Veneer are stronger than them at this point in time. Well, they are saying emphatically not. We can go toe-to-toe with the very, very best in the league. They've only got around about 30 seconds left on this Baron. They haven't been able to get too much in terms of structures, and I think that just illustrates the strength that Nord have for themselves right now. Both these teams really fighting up against each other as equals.
Yep, but it's difficult for them to break the gangplank on bot, and Fury is trying to do what he did before and find the pick onto Nyled. That's what really broke open the game. That team fight around the Drake for Nord, that got them so far through where we thought the game is over, Nord are probably just going to win this like they win all their other games, came off the back of a Fury pick. He's trying to find it, and he's slowly slinking into his chair until he's 180 degrees piss chilling, but he wasn't able to find it on that rotation. The Baron is down now, though, so it's going to become easier.
Oh, Taxa dodging away, but no! The Chains of Corruption hit onto Kevo. He's been tagged by Lee Sin-Q. Akabane thinking about it, not going to go. Verdant, they get the tower, they don't get the tower, they disengage from the bot lane play. That was mighty close.
A mid tower, though, did go down for them, but that's all they got from the Baron. They're nervous, but maybe it's better to temper than it is to push through in risky scenarios. Fury was there to capitalize if you pushed a bit too hard. He's the burst that Nord are looking to open up the window to get back into the game. Kasing, we're still looking for that big play, but he isn't on the items yet to be able to do it. Not quite sure what it is he's building right now. Is there anything that builds out a Giant's Belt and Stopwatch?
Well, I think there are a lot of items that build out a Giant's Belt.
Well, yes, but like together.
With the stop. Not too sure. That's a conundrum that maybe we'll be able to solve a little bit later. I want you to look at the objective timers in the top corners of your screen, though. Chemtech Soul spawning in a minute for Nord. It's not an Infernal as much as Summoner's Rift would like you to believe it. And then a Baron in a minute and a half. Verdant have taken more towers than Nord, so theoretically they should have the position, they should have the advantage around these objectives, but as we highlighted in the early game, Nord may have the advantage in terms of their ability to place vision effectively and spot out Verdant.
In the next fight, though, GP's damage is going to do a massive leap. He has his armor penetration finish, he has his Navori's quick blade finish, he has the best kind of build you're looking for here.
Taxa! He finds Kasing, the hook flashed away from, and all the damage is going down onto that Vi. Fury is going to dash away. Clyde trying to disengage, gets kicked back into his team by Akaban. Nearly building up the rage, about to go mega. A load of ultimates pulled in that fight, but no one going down.
Clyde flashing over Akaban's attempt to flash kick him. Really nicely done there. Both of them, they're able to move away from Nord's potential windows to engage.
Woolite, what are you doing, buddy? That's not where you could stand. A shutdown for Taxa, and removing an AD at this stage is absolutely massive. Kasing instead as well. The bot lane of Nord has been taken off the map. How much can Verdant get from this?
Okay, they've denied the soul. They're going to get the Drake now, and in 16 seconds, the Baron comes up. Get the Drake, reset, get full control of Baron, force them to come into you after you've spent your money. You know you can win fights. Nilla with a brilliant engage. Cly with a brilliant engage. You know you have a composition that can do this. What is it that Nord can do? They can't start it without the Varus, to be honest. And if they try to hold here... All right, Verdant aren't recalling. They're not going to spend the gold that they got from the previous... engagement. They're not going to pick Fury either. They just have to rush this as fast as they can, because if they're able to be interrupted, will like a Sing, they'd get here. It's not even going to be close. They're going to get both objectives reset and be in a really good position to try to close the game. This could be the upset we were hoping for at the start of the day. All other games have gone somewhat as planned, even with interesting stuff. But in terms of the events on the game, this is the one no one expected, but could actually go that way.
Match of the day, and well and truly living up to that name right now. We are 35 minutes in, and very little separates both of these teams. We are going to be approaching max builds, full items for a few of these players, for a few of these champions now. E-roll with that Medjai's in inventory, as strong on this Azir as he's going to be. And Verdant, with their man in their mid lane leading them, have a shot at taking down Nord.
They have a really strong likelihood of doing it. Top lane, you know, they're not going for it. They're playing a 2-lane setup to get this bot turret down. And they're going for all of the jungle vision to try to make sure Fury doesn't get the flank off they was going for before. WoW isn't actually set up to defend the bot tower. Vord have decided, we're going to play this at the tier 3s and we're going to force you to come into us. Now, the safe play for Verdant off of this would be to now play top shifts, so shift off of bot in towards mid, have a Azir shift into top and shove this wave in, try to synchronize the wave play for the tower, or they could look to actually do this contest underneath the tower for Nord. But Nord, they have good tools to defend here. They have the Gangplank, they have the Varus, and they have a lot of potential engage. Looks like top's getting ignored, and Verdant are just going to extend this 2-lane setup between mid and bot.
Yeah, you really want to make sure that these waves are crashing at the same time, so you can have elements of pressure in both lanes. And it's not really happening at the moment, as another Baron wave is going to get escorted in. Those GP barrels are so impactful as well. He's going to be able to find a Chains of Corruption down onto Nilla, but the Tibbers misses. Taxa's going to go for an engage regardless, and this is a 3v5 for Verdant. They're going to be absolutely fine, though. Taxa pulls at the front. That cannon barrage is preventing Verdant from finding anything from this fight. Nilla hopping forward. Woolite in a Zonya's. That could be risky. The hook will find him, and E-roll is dominating. This could be the final fight of the game, as it's still full HP on the Azir. The inhib tower is being focused down. The inhib will fall as well. Do Verdant go for it right here?
It was so risky of them to do the contest on the tier 3s. You have the Annie engage, you have the Varus engage, you have Akabane's potential, you have WoW against the Baron minions, and yet they were able to find it. They dodged the Annie ultimate, they dodged the Annie engage, they get the re-engage off of the Zonyas from Cly. Errol is able to get in and get more kills despite not being able to do the flank that he intended to do. And 2 inhibs are now down. Is it clean? Not as clean as you'd like it to be. But is it looking like a game win for Verdant? Very, very likely. Or Nord are going to have one hell of a story to tell at the end of this game.
And if you're looking at players to watch, Woolite, the last couple of fights, that Zonya's mistimed in the bottom lane gave Cly a hook. Overextending in the mid lane after that Drake gave Verdant a couple of picks, led to some more objectives. The experience on the side of Nord is not showing up right now. We've got WoW forced to teleport out of that bot lane as Verdant were converging. And honestly, it's not the team that just got promoted from Division 2 that looks like they're struggling, that looks like they're trying to find something. It's the super roster built to win the split. Verdant grouping in the mid lane. Got 25 seconds until that Chemtech Soul is on the board, and Nord are struggling to approach.
Yep, it is difficult though with this because by playing so heavily for the Kentex Soul, you are allowing Nord to play through the inhibitor lanes and essentially wasting a lot of time there. Kasing misses again with the Tibbers. Huge engage potential for Nord has just gone. Woolite also burned his engage to follow up on the Kasing ult. Now Verdant, they feel a lot more comfortable doing this. A wow barrel, an Akabane kick, these are what they're hoping for. Nilla's not letting Fury get the flank that we've been talking about all game, but he's going for it anyway.
He's going to jump back away. The cannon barrage is going to be used to push back Verdant.
Barrel's out.
So difficult to approach into the pit when that is down, but as it falls away, they will be emboldened. Wow! With the barrel chamber, it only collects onto Clyde. 500 damage crits are not what you need from the GP at this point. Akabane is still DPSing the Drake. Can Verdant get a steal? No! Kentex goes in favour of Nord, and they get the first kill of the fight. They get the second kill of the fight. They get the third kill of the fight. But look at the base. Erol and Nilla have TP'd in. They're trying to go for the end. Fury is the only one here that can stop them. He's got a shuriken on Nilla's head. The first Nexus Tower is going to fall down. Wow! Gets the reset coming through. Verdant's solo laners must run for the hills, and the game is not over yet.
Verdant had to be together on that Drake, but instead they go for some 9-head highlight reel play that would get really lots of upvotes on Reddit. But now Nord actually have a really good window, because that Baron's coming up, jungle. You're on cooldown timers, and they have the soul. Verdant, they're on top of Vision, but they're looking to potentially end the game anyway. They don't see it? They see it. They're recalling. They have WoW recalling now. It's 2v2.
Oh, this is risky. Fury's going to get pushed back. Erol goes into that stopwatch. Nilla just needs to do a little bit more damage. But he can't do it to the Akali. Fury gets a shutdown. Erol falls for the first time in ages. And whilst that was happening, Nord are able to pick up the Baron in a game that has gone in so many directions. New pages being written before our eyes. The story of this match is not over yet.
Nilla hit Tibbers instead of the Fury. Oh, man. That's like the second time where Target Champions Only would have really benefited the players on Verdant in a fight. But still, I mean, the decision to try to end that way around the Soul, I think if you just played that 5-on-5 together, that would have been a pretty simple way. But now it's Baron and Soul available for Nord. Hopefully this Drake is as overrated as you were describing to me earlier. It is still an exposed base. One inhibitor down, and it's free reign on that Nexus turret. Are there teleports up on Erol and Nilla? Not yet. Are there wards in? Not yet. And, you know, they've done a very good job on the side of Nord from clearing all of that vision in. Inhibitors will be up soon. Here's that fight again. You have a roller on the side. Instead of playing as 5 here, Nilla's just rolling away, allowing his teammates to just die. Kevo going in, playing as he does. But immediate channeled recalls. They should know that in that scenario, it's very unlikely for them to get it, but they were actually in a decent position to win the fight with the lack of engage available from Verdant.
Akabane needs to be careful. The feathers pull back, not resulting in a snare. Verdant, despite the advantages that Nord do have, still pushing forward into the enemy jungle. I have to feel like that Elder Drake spawning in 3 minutes is really going to be where this game is decided, because as hard fought as Nord have made the defense of this base, it feels like they need something a little bit extra if they're going to stop Verdant from taking them down.
I mean, they have the soul. They have the soul, and they have Verdant's decision-making and trying to end the game. You can see how much pressure Verdant feel like they're up against. You know, they really feel they have to do something extra to end the game, when honestly, just clean play could have ended the game for them earlier. But, you know, it makes this next few minutes very interesting. They have to weather the storm of Nord. They don't have a gangplank to do so. Azir clear doesn't really work here. Losing mid inhibitor is not going to be the worst thing on the planet, but they pretty much have to drop it.
And Nord have not got long left on that Baron. They're trying to get as much as they can for it, though. Rotating over towards the bot side. Chains of Corruption's connecting onto Clyde. They blow him up! There is nothing that the Nautilus could contribute to this fight, and Fury is going ham on the backline. A double kill for WoW! And Verdant, they pushed hard, they did their damnedest, but you cannot deny Nord. E-roll goes in for a hero play, but you will not be a hero today. The dab from Akaban on his player cam signalizes Nord taking down Verdant.
This is one of those games